Playing by ear. Hello, it's 5 level, 5 level. I'm just gonna go with the things that actually are yeah, for example this 3rd level. Mission over here. Mission over here. This is there's a level 4. This where? Ah, yeah. Yeah, right. Cool. There's Scary Lady. But the train itself is kinda nice. Looks like first class in airplanes. I mean, maybe they are all of them like that on the island, but no, not here. Hello, I want to buy something slight basic, and now I'm ready for the mission.
Wasn't much of a day, was it, Miss Evie?
Photograph in the house. Ledger reads like a tragedy.
Sorry to be frank, old girl, but your outfit looks a bit tatty.
Playing by ear. Evi's search for the piece of Aiden continues as she examines the notebook recovered from Miss Hearn's chest. So probably going to the docks. As from her notes.
You may have not found a piece of Eden, but this material is invaluable. Look. It says the London assassins had found a shroud.
The Shroud of Eden is supposed to heal even the gravest injury. If the assassins had found something like this, surely Father would have known.
There must be something we're missing.
Something only we can see. These look like directions. Are you coming?
Fieldwork is not really my speciality.
We found a clue to a precursor object. Don't you want to follow it?
Put that way, one can hardly refuse. Do you know, I think this map may be taking us to the Koniu mansion.
Kenway, the pirate.
Oh,
Master assassin and pirate, yes.
park.
How much do you know
Yeah.
about the Shroud of Eden?
You horses can get to know each other. I'm gonna grab illustration. Retrieve. Hey, how are you? Can I pet it? Oh, she's not trying to. You can pet horse.
It's said to heal the sick. Popular myth is that it brings people back from the dead.
That's it.
It's said to heal the sick. Popular myth is that it brings people back from the dead, but the assassin records say that's not true. I've never heard of one being in London, though. Do you really think Edward Koniu could have found one?
He traveled extensively, so it's possible. But if he did, he kept it a closely guarded secret.
You wait there for me. Hey. Is it allowed to go over here? Hey, how are you? An unintentional joke. What? Hey, like the food for the horse? Ah, you were speaking about the horses? Yeah. That joke. Is it still there? Oh, it's not. Is that cross still over that building? And if it's like true, no, that's not gold. Pink. Oh, who knows? We will see in a moment. What's the building? I'm kinda also like uneducated, so let's see. Let's learn it. Let's grab the chest. Hello, pick a lock. The most like weird thing, like you pick a lock with holding the button. Okay. Database, encyclopedia, locations. City of London. St. Paul's Cathedral. The earliest church built on the site, with the name of St. Paul, dates back to 604 CE. It was made of wood and burned down 71 years later. Subsequent churches were likewise wooden and likewise consumed by fire, until the chaplain to William the Conqueror built the cathedral out of stone in 1087. These buildings would survive for 600 years. It's almost like stone isn't flammable. Talk was bloody genius. St. Paul's Cathedral was originally a place of Catholic worship and a center of public activity. Raiding took place in the cathedral as well as games of sport, despite objections from those in charge of the cathedral. When Henry VIII severed ties with the Catholic Church, St. Paul's became a Protestant cathedral, and although it went back to Catholic worship under Mary, Queen of Scots, St. Paul's became Protestant once and for all under Queen Elizabeth in 1559. Efforts to restore St. Paul's were delayed time and time again by such events as the English Civil War and the Great Fire of 1666, which claimed the cathedral as one of its many casualties. Legendary architect Christopher Wren, who was only in his 30s, was hired to redesign St. Paul's before it was destroyed by the Great Fire, and he engineered the design and construction of a new revitalized cathedral. By the 19th century, the St. Paul had once again lost its luster. Queen Victoria remarked that the cathedral was dreary, dingy, and undevotional. Funds were raised to improve the cathedral by such philanthropists as Maria Hackett and William Walton Champneys, but no Crawford's direct interesting. The cross looks different now, much more detail. Yeah. Is it like you visible, like the difference from the ground? Wow. I think I've missed the. Oh no, this is where. No, we missed the hospital of St. Bartholomew. Is the oldest hospital in all of London. It was built in the year 1123 by a traveling entertainer, third Anglo-Roman monk named Rahir. The story goes that Rahir fell ill while on pilgrimage to Rome and vowed to found a hospital if he survived and returned home safely. You know that old story. The number of hospitals built that way is astounding. The most notorious physician to work as sent about Rome was Dr. Rodrigo Lopez. Appointed to the hospital in 1562, he would go on to become Queen Elizabeth's chief physician. He was arrested in 1594 for attempting to poison the Queen and was hanged, drowned, and quartered in June of that year. The scandal, combined with Lopez's Judaism, reignited a trend of Jewish villains in theater, including a revival of Christopher Marlowe's The Tragedy of the Rich Jew of Malta and most notably, William Shakespeare's writing of The Merchant of Venice. When the cholera epidemic hit London in 1831, St. Bartholomew's Hospital refused to admit cholera patients. You know, you're in bad shape, but even the hospital says, no thank you. I mean, like, this is happening right now in Poland. No place for silk. Yeah. Instead, cholera patients were kept in a nearby house which was demolished following the outbreak. A medical school was built as an extension of the hospital a few years later. The facilities were state-of-the-art and featured a library, medical and chemical theaters, an anatomy museum, and dissection rooms. Yeah. Actually, I don't know the story. It says, you know the original story. I don't remember this from school. In the Royal Exchange, since we saw were there, but haven't read about this, the Royal Exchange and its use as a center for trade was inspired by the Bourse in Antwerp, which had made Belgium the financial capital of Europe. Ironically enough, Antwerp would be raided by the Spanish 10 years later, losing the nation's wealth and allowing England to take over as the new financial power. Thanks again, Spain. The main investor in the first Royal Exchange was a wealthy merchant named Sir Thomas Gresham. When the exchange was built in 1570, it featured a grasshopper, the insect on Gresham's coat of arms on the water vane, and a statue of Gresham in the open courtyard. The statue was the only thing in the Royal Exchange to survive the Great Fire of 1666. Christopher Wren was hired to redesign London, a task as big as being main editor of the internet. Probably, yeah. And he envisioned the Royal Exchange as the center of the city, with all London pouring out from it. The second Royal Exchange was opened to public from 1669 to 1838, but it was again consumed by fire. As flames licked the bell tower, the last song the bells chimed was the Scottish tune There's Nae Luck Aboot the Hoose. There's nae luck aboot the hoose. I'm sure the fact that they kept playing a loud Scottish folk song was in no way connected to the place being set on fire. The third and current Royal Exchange was built on the foundation of its predecessors and opened by Queen Victoria on October 28, 1844. Gresham Grasshopper returned to its place of glory, where it has remained since. Codical bills. Are there any new? Yeah, there is illustration. 5. Going to marine performance of the pantomime. Is it a news? Watch that. Items. Shroud of Eden. Yeah, and they were singing Scottish songs. The first civilization created many strange and powerful objects which were referred to as Piece of Eden. We've discovered apples, strange spheres, and that can manipulate minds, powerful swords and staffs, as well as some other objects that are a little bit less impressive. But perhaps one of the strangest ones has to be the Shroud of Eden. Civilians know the object as the Shroud of Turin, which some allege is the burial shroud of Jesus of Nazareth. On the surface, it's a white line cloth stained with blood, with the imprint of a man who appears to have been crucified. What we know about this object has been pieced together from various sources. Genetic memories stolen from Stable Project Galaxy by the hacker collective known as Erudio and the semi-coherent ramblings of the assassin clay Kaczmarek, hello, Polish person, was driven insane by prolonged exposure to the animus. It apparently has the ability to heal several injuries, but we don't know how. It has ties to a precursor named Consus, but we've not been able to dig up anything about him. Early reports of the artifacts are hidden within myths and legends, the Golden Fleece of Jason and the Argonauts, Joseph's famous multicolored coat, and it allegedly helped David fall Goliath. Yet its most famous owner is undoubtedly celebrity carpenter Jesus. His resurrection was apparently facilitated by the Shroud. It bears mentioning that other than Jesus, there are no reports of any piece of Eden capable of bringing back the dead, and until I see it for myself in anonymous or otherwise, I remain a complete skeptic. To me, it's just a fancy napkin. That is that, no matter how much I might wish otherwise. The object is being stolen back and forth between the Assassins and Templar over the centuries. The last report was that the Templars had managed to acquire it in 40s and have it stored away. Being the ever-imaginative sort, they refer to it as Piece of Eden number 66. Although it might not be the sexiest piece of Eden out there, it's certainly not a laser sword, or a mind control ball, or a hover spoon. I've always been curious to know more about Shroud. I'm glad to know there's at least one more of them out there. I hope I get to it first. Ooh, love reading. Ah, CC look. What's that? How to get this? Oh, no, that's gonna be for later. The only difference between those and the gold ones that are kinda a lot is like time. Prefer how it looked in Unity, that you actually have to unlock it by yourself. Kinda fun. Especially when you're under-leveled. Hey! Oi! Stop it. I'm gonna go in the wrong way and make a crash. Yeah.
What a find it would be.
Indeed. Indeed. I'm eager to find out myself. It's surprising that you haven't already searched the Kennedy house.
Edward's son, Haven, joined the Templars. When he died, the house passed on to Haven's sister.
And in all your time in London, you didn't go and have a look around? Weren't even a little curious?
Four points. Adrenaline. Increase the rate at which your health regenerates. It's nice, but let's go for something else. So, more and better knives or stealth? Let's go with better stealth. Yeah, why not? We're probably invisible even when we go like this. Oh, we're visible. Damn.
I think this is it.
I think you're right. Look.
I'll be in the study. I don't want to be interrupted unless you have news of the lost notebook.
That makes getting in a challenge.
You still intend to enter?
If this is a Templar stronghold, it won't get any easier. Don't worry. We'll stay well away from Miss Lucy. Shall we? Can you check over there?
Of course.
Oh, it's under level. Where's the entrance? Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
She might be trouble. What the hell was that? Look, will you just run along now? Intruder! She's
Fuck
right
you.
there!
And if I want to go underground, how to do this? Hey guys, I just entered through the window and you haven't seen me, right? That's great, that's great. Going nice. Headshot.
I'll take a look.
Oh. That was hard.
She's an intruder!
Am I?
You again!
No. Honorary guess. He's angry. Where's the chest? Under. There's our friend. He's there because he doesn't know how to enter through the window, I believe. Now he's gonna be in trouble. Or not. It might happen. These are all Koniu's memorable collections.
Something from Edward Kenway's time.
Nice, 1 of 7. Only one. There's nothing to grab. And I need 6 more things. Where are they? Where is everybody? Where is... See, 367. We have money for wood to the stove, and even half for tomorrow.
That looks interesting.
Still nothing here, same as last time.
You okay
I
there?
can't believe they've kept all of this.
And they did. But chill out, there's no one here. No, 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 this is all.
What are we looking for?
I'm not quite sure.
We need to go back and find all others. Yeah. How to get information about our current mission?
Something
Tab? Yeah, there's something on the right corner. Nope.
that only we can.
Bad, 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 bad. Anyway, complete the piano puzzles without hitting a false note. How am I supposed? A, D, E, F sharp. Oh, here's a D, A, D, E, F, D. D, A, D, E, F, D. D, A, D, E.
Piano is beautiful.
Do you play?
I forget. D, A, D, E, F,
I
D.
love the sound. You?
I have memory problems at the
Enough to
power.
pass as a
Like, what the
genteel
hell?
young lady if I need to.
I would love to hear you
Okay,
play
D,
if the
A, D,
opportunity
E, F,
presented.
D. D, A. D, A, D, E, F, D. I misclicked it.
Not enormously subtle, is it?
Clearly, Kenway had a strong sense of spectacle.
Cool task, I like it. Yeah. Only if I, you know. No problems with clicking correct buttons. Still, we've missed some elements like the ship over there. There is some the door. There is also no the guns we actually clicked, but yeah. We haven't broken our simple loot. The hell.
I think this is from the jackdaw.
Okay, another route for another day.
To think this has been hidden for a century.
The history of the London assassins. Bolt holes, vaults, a hidden key. This is it.
You say you heard music.
Well, holes.
There was no opening there before.
It's closing!
Yes, I can see that. Help me block it.
We need to find another way out.
You two, get
Am I supposed to use it?
Try to find
Yeah.
us another exit. There must be a switch somewhere. Check the
An entire vault, filled with assassin history, left behind once again.
We'll just have to reclaim this one later or find a better cache.
We? I thought you preferred to stay out of field work.
I was thinking more of you and your brother. I shall provide planning assistance from the train.
Yeah. If I only knew that after entering that room I couldn't exit it. We discover all. Shame. Outfit Defender's Garb. Opens. Every notebook. Entry 2. Every time I look at what few papers I have managed to salvage from the collection Miss Fern acquired, I'm angry at Jacob. If it weren't for the interference, I would now be sorting through a wealth of information, the likes of which I had never seen before. At least I have the notebook, and several papers I found tucked inside. Also take comfort in the fact that Miss Fern does not have it. I was so certain that she would be receiving the piece within itself. Let it be a lesson to me not to rush to conclusions. Mr. Gain has moved some of his books from his curio shop to the train so that we have the resources as we analyze the notebook's contents. It is nice to have a company as I work. Very nice to have a company while I work. Decrease melee damage received by 10%. Thank you. It's good, but no thank you. People. Ooh, enemies. Lucifer. We read about her. Is there anything new here? No, there's nothing new. We all read it. Hey, Tom Koniu. What's wrong with his face? You look totally different. Like, totally different. We're playing that guy. He's a bad guy, but we're playing that guy. As a child, Haydam Ikinwa was given a rather specific and unusual education by his father, Edward. Haydam knew that it was somehow connected to his father's mysterious past, but before he could learn the truth, his family home was attacked. Edward was killed and Haydam's old sister Jenny was kidnapped. Haydam was adopted by Reginald Birch, a friend of the Koniu family. Birch revealed that in fact he was Templar Grand Master of the British Rite and offered to both train him and help him find his missing sister. Years passed and Haydam became a ruthless and efficient killer for the Templar Order. Yeah. Grandmaster Birch was obsessed with the first civilization and sent him to the British colonies in America to locate a suspected precursor storehouse. His first order of business, no pun intended, was to annihilate the colonial assassin brotherhood, which he managed to accomplish thanks to the traitor Shy Cormac. With his Templars allies firmly in place, we were playing Shy Cormac. Yeah, that's the guy from Assassin's Creed Rogue. Because in Rogue, you were playing Templar. Yeah. Shay Cormac, I believe. I'm just checking that info. Don't know why, just curious. Hey Cormac, I've not seen the word trigger. Assassin with Rogue main character. Hey Patrick Cormac, yes. With his Templar allies firmly in place, Haydam began to search for the precursor site located somewhere in the colonial frontier. He secured the assistance of Kenyaka natives by freeing several captives, including Kenyati Horiho, with whom he had an ill-fated but passionate affair. Haydam briefly left the colonies when his associated located his lost sister in Damascus. He journeyed there to free her. And she revealed the mystery behind their father's death. Edward was an assassin and Birch had killed him for his secrets. The siblings traveled to Europe and killed Birch. Were they? Wow. Jenny returned to Kingway home in London, but despite Birch's betrayal, Haydam chose to return to the colonies and resume his duties as Grandmaster. Okay. So even though he knew he still wanted to be Templar, Haydam sought to control the American Revolution, but the half-native assassin Koniu sabotaged his efforts. Yeah, Haydam realized Koniu was his son of Koniu, and while they made an attempt to find common ground, it soon became clear that reconciliation was impossible. Haydam fell to his son's hidden blade. Yeah. One big messed up family. We're playing all those guys. Edward in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and before the Honor, Assassin's Creed 3, in Assassin's Creed Rogue, we're playing Cormac, the friend of his, and him we were playing Assassin's Creed 3 for a while. Let's do this something.